Hello, Herman Deal, the real deal here. Thank you for watching this edition of Subconscious Fat. So, today we're going to talk about why avocado is really weird when it comes to being a fruit, because avocado is a fruit. It has a big seed inside. Of course, it's a fruit. So, that's what we're going to talk about. But before that, I just want to mention something real quick. April 2nd of 2026, I am going to raise the prices of my online training by $300 and $400. And so, for those of you out there who might have thought, I could use some help to lose some weight, and I've lost weight, but the final 10 pounds, I can't seem to get it off. I could use some guidance, I could use some help. I have an online coaching program. One is a group coaching, one is more attention one-on-one. That one obviously costs more. But if you've thought about this, click the link that I have in the below and set up a session to do a Zoom call with me so I can show you how I can be of help, because April 2nd, the prices are going up. I was going to say April 1st, but April 1st is April Fool's Day. So prices aren't, this is no joke. The prices are going to go up by $300 and $400. So, so if you've thought about it, do the Zoom call. It's a way for me to give you information. I don't try to pressure you into doing anything obviously you don't want to do, but if you see I could be a benefit, it would be smart to do the Zoom call ahead of time so that if you do it, you save money because you did it before April 2nd. So just wanted to throw that in there. Okay, avocados. That's what we're talking about today. It's an avocado. This is a pretty big one. Sometimes it makes me wonder, it's pretty big. And remember, avocado is a fruit. Why is it so different? Why is it not sweet like almost all other fruit? Well, there's a very specific reason for that. But that's also why, being on a carnivore diet, you can eat a lot of avocado. And as long as you don't eat too much, because they do have carbohydrates, but not that much, but they have even more fat. So it's very healthy, good for you to eat avocados, even with it not being part of carnivore. So remember, I do recommend a ketogenic carnivore diet, but avocados fit very well within the ketogenic, not technically carnivore, but again, there's no carnivore police. You can eat avocado because it has a lot of fat. Remember, when getting on a ketogenic carnivore diet, the whole thing that we're doing is we're switching fuel systems. It's like taking a car and switching it from diesel to unleaded. So avocado, because they have so much fat and not sugar, despite being a fruit, um, avocados fit very well in a ketogenic carnivore diet. Now let's look at, from an evolutionary standpoint, why is the fruit avocado different than so many other fruits? So scientists say that the avocado was very likely eaten by prehistoric animals. The megafauna in the Americas, in the Western Hemisphere. Avocados are known to be from or have originated in Central America, Mexico, Southern America. And so large animals like these giant sloths, which existed 10 to 20,000 years ago and then were wiped out when humans came over, they very likely ate the avocado. And I know it's hard to believe, but here are the bones. And, the bones with a man standing next to it, these animals were that big. But think how big the avocado seed is. It's large. So the avocado evolved to be eaten by large megafauna mammals that no longer exist, and that helped spread the seed of the avocado. A lot of people would also argue if it weren't for humans saving the avocado would pretty much probably go extinct without human intervention. Here are a few examples of the other animals that were in the Americas. Humans, of course, wiped out the woolly mammoth and a lot of other related species of elephants, which very likely ate avocados. You know, they're the only animals big enough to have to eat the fruit whole and then poop out that large seed. In today's day and age, what animals eat the avocado? Not that many. Coyotes have been known to eat avocados, and I couldn't find a mention of any other animal that really eats avocado. So it was mainly eaten by prehistoric animals. And of course, humans will do what humans do. We started domesticating the avocado and breeding it with and hybridizing it with other plants to create a variety of different avocados to be able to sell them more to other humans. This is what we do. Everyone thinks that, you know, the vegetables we're eating today were the same vegetables around forever. Nope. They've been manipulated, hybridized, and genetically altered by humans. That's what we do. And here we see the nutritional profile of the avocado. The thing to note, of course, is the fat, 22 grams of fat. And remember, fat is very, very valuable for energy efficiency. So when this fruit evolved to be more fatty than sweeter, the fat is gives you 9 calories of energy, where sugar only gives you 4. So you have a more efficient fuel source with the fat. And this chart here shows why, when a person is doing keto or carnivore, eating uh, guacamole, eating avocado is totally um, works, because it's very different than eating a regular fruit. When you eat a regular fruit, it's like carbohydrates. You're going to get a response like the red spike there. It's going to peak within 1 to 2 hours. 90% of what you eat gets converted to glucose. You get a quick insulin spike. And if you don't use that energy right away, it gets stored as fat. When you eat protein, you get a much less glucose response, the yellow there. 40% of it gets converted to glucose, and it takes 4 to 5 hours for it to peak. But when you eat fat, it takes 8 to 9 hours to get the peak energy effect. And it takes 8 to 9 hours to burn through the fat. It takes longer. So you stay full longer, which means if you want to fast, it's way, way easier when you eat a lot of fatty foods, mainly fatty meat, but also avocado can be in there. And so this is really why, um, you know, if a person's doing carnivore and keto, they can eat avocados. And even though it's strictly not a carnivore food, they're still getting their body used to burning fat for fuel. It's very healthy. And when they want to fast, which is what really ends up burning the fat off of your body, it's going to be much easier having eaten avocados with the meal, because it helps you just go for longer periods of time without the cravings. So I often get clients who like tell me, I can't imagine not eating some vegetables or fruits. And I often suggest, hey, eat avocado, eat up to 2 avocados a day. You're still less than 50 grams of carbohydrates. So you can eat one at lunch, one at dinner, one avocado to kind of go with the meat. That's great. You can do that. It's not going to stop the fat loss. In fact, it'll enhance it, because you're eating the fat to then eventually burn the fat off. So the big takeaway with avocado is that it's a the oddball in the fruit world. It is a fruit, but metabolically, it's a completely different animal, because it's based around fat, not sugar, like fruit is. Avocados use the fat around the seed to distribute its seed, and animals want that fat, or at least extinct animals. Today, only coyotes pretty much eat avocados. I couldn't find literature. They say other animals, but they only mention coyotes. But so very likely scientists agree it was prehistoric animals that ate avocado. but it's an advantage for us as humans. It's a great advantage because, there's a lot of people out there saying, oh, you can't sustain a carnivore diet forever. Like, no way. Oh, yes, you can. You can eat avocado, okay? You can safely eat avocado with no issues. It has a lot of fat. It helps in the carnivore process. What you want to keep in mind if you're eating avocados and trying to get ketogenic, get your body to burn fat, is that each avocado is about 13 grams of carbohydrates. So, what does that mean? Well, you can be in ketosis if you're eating less than about 50 grams of carbohydrates. So, that means you can eat 2 or 3 avocados with no issues. You can just make your avocado the thing you eat with meat, which is a great way to go. You're still going to burn fat and you're going to be able to shred the weight. And if you want to fast, it's going to help you to fast for longer periods of time with no issues. In any case, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this edition of Subconscious Fat. I will be back on Monday with another video and Thursday with Mr. Skeptical. Bye.